in your life start getting bigger too, like your home.
Can't wait for the new jack! What?
And especially your bills.
That'll be $249.86.
Oh.
But with Allstate, the amount you can save is getting bigger too. Because right now, when you bundle coverage for your car, home, motorcycle, and more, you can save up to 30%.
Call Adrian Smiley today at 317-228-0707.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon to our listeners online, and good afternoon to our Facebook audience. You are tuned in to Let's Go There with Cassandra, a.k.a. Sassy C, as my engineer says, the artist formerly known as Sassy C. We have an amazing topic today, another fire show. We are doing a part 2 of Marriages Today, Spiritual Covenant or Business Contract Part 2. We have some awesome guests that are here with us today, so I'm super excited about having them. We're going to just kind of go around and have them briefly introduce themselves and tell the audience a little bit about who they are, starting with Mr. Rick Gilliam.
Since I've been married. I've been married for 18 years.
Oh, he said start over.
Oh, okay. Now, cool. Again, my name is Ricky Gilliam, originally from Gary, Indiana. I've been living in Indianapolis for the last 18 years, which is how long I've been married to my wife, Tiffany. She's from here. Just excited to be here and talk.
Okay, awesome. Tori, introduce yourself real quick.
Torian Taylor. Originally from Elkhart, Indiana. I've been living here in Indianapolis for about 20 plus years. That's about it.
Okay. The infamous TJ Jones, who I've been trying to get on the show since last year. Yeah. TJ, introduce yourself.
TJ Jones. I've been in Indianapolis 44 years. And Northsider. And, you know, done a couple things in the city, and I'm just happy to be here tonight.
Okay. And Miss Kiana.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kiana Warren. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but I've been in Indianapolis for 20 years, so I guess it's home now. Interestingly enough, I've been married for 7 years. My husband was born in Elkhart, but reps GI, so he's from Gary. Right. So we've been here. We met in college. We've been together. We let me not even do the math, but yeah, we've been married for 7 years.
Okay. And our returning guest co-host, Miss Natalie Burke. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Natalie, again. Never been married, single mom of one, handsome 13-year-old boy, and I've been in Indianapolis all my life.
All right, so we're going to kick this show on off because we got some questions to get through, and I want to make sure we get through all of them in this short amount of time that we have. So on the last show we did, some of these questions I asked those guests, but I want to ask you guys because I want to get your perspective before we jump into the new one. So first question I'm going to open up with is marriages a religious institution or a business contract with the focus of accumulating material things and wealth? I will let TJ open us up with that.
Okay. To me, marriage is a religious institution.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as for me, in my house, okay, I'm not going to. Now, I'm been married, currently am, but going our separate ways. Okay. I do believe in this. I'm not going to get with anyone, even if I, am wanting to be married in a spiritual agreement. I'm not going to get with anyone that I can't help progress in their life. Or if they're not that person that wants to progress, like not everyone wants to open up a business or, or whatever. If they're not willing to help me progress in my life. Because when I say those things, I'm not saying for singularity. I'm saying when I progress in my life, that means you're going with me.
Right.
Okay. So I just will not be with anyone that I can't find those aspects of being, as part of the relationship to get with them in the first place.
Okay.
All right. Now, it's absolutely a covenant. It's absolutely, past that contract that I have in my own mind, mm-hmm. It's absolutely a covenant.
Okay.
In my marriage, covenants are definitely a thing that you do for the person. You know, you get involved saying, I am going to be this to you so you will not do without. You know, it's not about I'm coming here, hopefully I'm getting something like a contract would be. I'm going to grow, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Now, like I said, I have that little bit of thing, but I want to grow with the person that I'm with, okay? But outside of that, my whole reason for getting married in the first place was to be something to that woman so that woman would never be without. So, and that should be the same for a woman getting involved into a relationship. So covenants are very hard to break. I can break a marriage contract. You know, I can, those little rules of, where if you do this, then I'll do that and that type of thing. Those can be broken all the time. Contracts are broken daily, but covenants, there is no wavering on a covenant.
Let's kind of put out what the definition of covenant means, right? And then business contract. So the last one we established that a covenant is basically just an agreement, or you agree by lease, deed, or other legal contract. So that's that. A business contract would be, let's see, just where we have the definitions. So while I'm looking for that, Tori, go ahead and tell us what you think. You think it's a business contract or a spiritual covenant?
It was supposed to be a spiritual covenant, but nowadays it's more of a business contract. I'm sorry, it's more of a business contract.
Okay.
Because a lot of people move into the marriage and like as what the mindset is, I'm gonna get with this person. This person has this. So when they get this and I'm married to them, then I have that also. And now, business-wise, other people like, who can I be with that can help me progress and move on? Or they don't want to do anything at all and let the other spouse do all the work.
Okay. So business contract is an agreement in which each party agrees to exchange, typically involving money, goods, or services. So when you think about marriage, what do you go ahead, Rick? What do you think?
Well, speaking of that, I mean, you don't need to be married to have that type of agreement with somebody. So,
nor do you need to be married to have a covenant with somebody.
Yeah, but if people understood what marriage is to begin with, it's a God ordained institution to begin with before any man-made ideals or denominational man-instituted stuff tainted it. Marriage was created by God. That's what I believe. You know, if you go back to the creation story, I know in your last episode you brought up some scenario about cavemen or something back.
No, I was going to give the history.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that particular history with all due respect.
Okay.
But
history is history, though, right?
Well, it depends who's the source.
Okay.
But yeah, and we have to check our sources too of where that information's coming from. But if we look at biblical history, when God created man, he created him in his image. And woman was already a part of him. He pulled woman out of his side. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, there was no business arrangement. He already had his house. He had this whole garden, this paradise. He already had a job. Adam was working already. He didn't need a business partner. He needed a life partner. It's different. And when he pulled that woman from his side, that let him know she is a part of you, a part of your flesh. When you hear that term, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, that's what that woman represents. And he told them to go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. He didn't say go make business contracts and make money together. He said love each other and make more of y'all so your descendants can keep up this work I got, this garden, this stuff that I made for y'all, these provisions that I made. So I think today, and I don't want to be long with this, but in today's society, we've corrupted so much stuff, not just marriage, but a lot of God-created stuff has been tainted and corrupted, and we try to push that as fact and as what it's supposed to be. And marriage's original intent was not a business contract. It's a love contract with the person that's supposed to be a part of you, two halves coming together to make that one whole, that image of God again. Because what's God's special gift, thing that he can do, his special power? He can create anything he want to create. How do we become like that? Only by a man and a woman coming together can we create life. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it with two dudes together. Excuse me. You can't do it with two dudes together.
Yeah,
that's the Gary. That's the Gary. I just came from church too.
Oh, you just came from the church.
But yeah, you can't do it with two women together. It's a specific order that he created, and if you understand that, then this will make more sense. And that's all I gotta.
Okay, Kiana.
So I kind of see it as a yes and, because for me specifically, it is a religious institution because I come from a Christian perspective, which I need to name right away. So that's my the way I see things. And so when I think about the purpose of marriage, for me, the word says it's not good for man to be alone. And that works for me. I also understand that Paul said that not everyone had to be married. And so I think it really comes down what works for you and what works between you and God from just a Christian perspective. But then I also respect what people outside of the Christian perspective. I don't hold them to my same standards because that's not right or my job. But when it comes to the business contract piece of it, I know from my personal experience, when we first got married, we had nothing. Not saying we have anything now, but like we got married, I guess, fairly young. But over time, as our marriage developed, it feels a little bit more like in addition to the love part and the spiritual part, the spiritual connection part, there's a business aspect to it. I think about well, I don't know if it's the number one reason anymore, but a lot of times people divorce because of financial issues. And so that tells me there has to be a business piece along with that. Now that women are given more, we're getting closer to getting some more equity and equal treatment in the workforce. So I do feel like that business piece is important. And I've seen over time how my husband and I have supported each other. We started a business together. We work together to support each other's. We also both work full time. So there's a lot of support there. And then when it comes to children, sometimes that can feel like an exchange. And I don't know if we're like a modern household or whatever, but I don't thank my husband for cooking, cleaning, and being a father. Things like that I don't feel like are anything to celebrate. Well, he should be celebrated. He's a great husband, good father. But like, to me, that can kind of feel like a business contract because sometimes we have to negotiate. Like, I'm tired. Can you do this piece? Can you do that piece? So I just really see it as both and don't really see it as a problem. And I even look back in the day how marriage was. It really was a business contract, and it wasn't about women really getting what they needed out of the relationship. Right. Even if you look, a lot of times women were traded as pieces. And I think when I think about marriage as a business contract, I think about a story in the Bible about Jacob with Rachel and Leah. And Leah was done really dirty. Yeah. And it was a business contract. Yeah. And it wasn't. I don't feel like it was necessarily frowned upon, but like I look at that, I'm like that didn't feel right.
Most marriages in the Old Testament were business contracts. They were not about love. They were about take this woman and repopulate the earth. It wasn't about take this woman because you love her and you want to provide and protect her. It was about take this woman so you can populate. I'll get to you. Nat, anything you want to add real quick?
Nothing really. I think I believe that it's both in a sense. Nowadays, marriage is really a lot of people get married for non-traditional reasons. And a lot of people come together when they get married. They just kind of come up with their own way of dealing with their marriage. I guess some people make it spiritual and come together and agree on that aspect. And I think a lot of the business aspect of marriages it develops as your